Good morning, everybody. So here we are on the eve of Valentine's Day, Lupercalia. And many of you have asked me to pick up the romantic sci-fi film, The Lakehouse. And I'm glad I did. I typically don't watch romances, but this one I'm glad I did. Because the film was about time travel. And it included many of the hidden symbols associated with time travel that we had uncovered in the past, like copper and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, and of course the Reeve himself, Keanu Reeve, which is we've identified as a portal. It is the coiled serpent portal to hell. That's what a Reeve is, a reeving coil it's called. They're used in elevators, in the wiring and cable support system of elevators that make them go up and down. It's called a reeving coil. They're also used in wiring. So we figured this out. There's videos here on YouTube that show a root that has the reeving pattern to it, a coil. And this root has been used, and you can stick this root into a stream, a small stream of flowing water, and it will actually travel against the current backwards in time. So there's something to this. Now, let me make sure we're connected. We'll keep going with this decode today. Thanks everybody for showing up. Sorry I was a little bit late. And let's make sure we're connected. We'll keep going with this. Can everybody hear me okay? All right. Awesome. Now, copper is an umber-like color, just like her Mustang here. That's Sandra Bullock. And here you see her copper-colored Mustang. But when copper oxidizes, it turns teal or like a blue-green color, just like Keanu Reeves' truck. Let's watch this. Now, the Lakehouse also appears to be the copper color as well, the oxidized copper. Here's Keanu Reeves. No, that's her, actually. Sorry, there's the copper. Now, this, like, I can't remember the film this is from, but there was a glass house with a copper time machine in it as well. I think it was called the Glass House. No, it was called 13 Ghosts. That's what it was. This is from the film 13 Ghosts. This is a screenshot from the aerial. We decoded that film 13 Ghosts. And again, much more copper. Now, one of you sent this to me and you're like, Casey, there's more to this Reeve than meets the eye. Because there's what's called revereware, which is a copper-bottomed pots and pans. And look at this. There's the number 88 associated with time travel. Let's keep watching. This is 40 Wall Street, one of Mr. T's buildings. And underneath here is a series of pneumatic tubes, like pneumonia, pneumatic tubes, air tubes. They used to send letters throughout the city. Those that were then replaced with telephone wires, of course, when we entered the telephone age, and probably are now filled with different kinds of technology, wiring this building to a lot of different places. There is the alchemical symbol for copper, which is 33 inverted. And of course, here is the floor where Nikola Tesla died, in the Wyndham New Yorker. And it looks like a 33. He was in room 33 too, on the 33rd floor. These are copper core coins. All coins have copper cores. This is why they use telephone booths as portals to travel through time and film, because they're filled with coins and copper telephone wire. Keanu Reeves used the telephone booths, as well as Doctor Who, as well as Superman, as well as every one of these people uses these telephone booths, and it's because of the copper. This is Arch Motorcycles. This is Keanu Reeves' motorcycle company. He knows something because arches are portals as well. It looks kind of like the Superman symbol, doesn't it? The serpent coming out of the chest. This is the Alpha and Omega, the bomb of all bombs, with the pipes behind it in one of the Planet of the Apes films. And it, of course, looks very brass or copper-like.
By the way, it's 2006.
2006? What does it mean, 2006?
If you are truly in the year 2004, then...
Now, this is all about the 4-6 matrix. And in the film, Keanu Reeves somehow connects to Sandra Bullock across a portal of time. Now, it's separated by 2 years, and the years are 2004 and 2006. This is the 46 matrix. Now, I'm not going to claim that Mr. T being born in 1946 has anything to do with this, but it's just weird, all these numbers surrounding this man, and the fact that he may have had this technology from his uncle, and that Nikola Tesla was all about copper. Copper was the key to the machines that Tesla built. Copper was at the core of these generators.
Be forewarned.
Tell me about the future. What's it like in the year 2006?
I'm afraid the world's pretty much the same. I wish we could have done this walk together.
Now, here's where things get creepy, because warp speed is time travel. That's how they travel through time. It is widely known that scientists tell us that the faster you travel toward the speed of light, that you begin to bend and warp time. This is what they tell us. I don't believe this to be true, but this is what they tell us. And of course, these same two actors played in a film together called Speed. You think that's an accident? Now look at this. This is the film Speed. Draw Deeps. Deeps backwards is speed. This is the name of Mr. T's legislation, not legislation, but his pet project to get us to travel into the portal of hell. Just like this bus here going through the fire. By taking the VC. Look at the shape. Get ready for rush hour. It is a cross. He is the Antichrist. You can't make this up. Now, when we look down here at the release date of 6/1, 116 minutes long, you're noticing that there's a lot of 16s and 19s in different shapes and forms, rotated 90 degrees, 180 degrees. You're going to notice this throughout this decode as well as we continue on with this. Now, they message each other through time. So, she's in the future, he's in the past. But he finds a way to leave messages for her from the past that spill through into the future. One of these is this graffiti he wrote on the wall. Together. And she focuses on the word together in the sentence. What's happening right now? What is the theme? The theme is all of us at home together while the economy collapses around us. Now watch this next sequence. Kate, I'm here with you. Thanks for lovely Saturday together. And she focuses on the one word together, which is exactly the theme that we're all being forced to abide by right now. She zooms in on the word together, and there you see above it the words collapse. And that's exactly what's happening. This is a controlled collapse. They're not even trying to deny that they have basically forced the economy to shut down so that we can all be at home together. Now, of course, to get her is another component of this. The woman, the seed of the woman, the serpent is wanting to get her, which is exactly what Keanu Reeves is trying to do. He's trying to bridge the gap across time to be with Sandra Bullock. And all of this is an analogy for the serpent and Eve. That's why electronic cars are called EVC, because Eve was able to see. Her eyes were opened. That almost looks like a wolf inside of there. See that? Whoa. Lupercalia, the festival of the dog and wolf. Collapse together. Now, there was one more component to this Lakehouse film that one of you actually discovered after you saw the this montage that I put up yesterday, and I read it in the comments section. And that was about the tree that was at the center of the Lakehouse. And then later in the film, Keanu Reeves plants a tree outside of her apartment. Here's the tree at the center of the Lakehouse. See if there's any pictures of the tree that he planted outside of her apartment. Now, what could this represent? Well, this represents the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, which makes the Lakehouse earth inside of the glass firmament. There are the waters below and the waters above. Are you seeing what this film is really about now? It's all of us stuck in the firmament with the tree of evil. The devil is stuck here too, and his stated goal is to find a way to elevate himself and escape so that he can be above the Most High. Now, I had finished this Lakehouse decode yesterday, and I began to think about Flushing Meadows again. So I decided to go onto IMDb and see where else Flushing Meadows was used as a filming location, because we had already decoded Men in Black. We saw these observation towers, and we saw the Super Bowl with the same thing. Observation towers and the globe. And people were like, no, that's Las Vegas. Vegas means meadows. This is Flushing Meadows with Las Vegas. They're both one and the same. This was the halftime show. And what I found when I looked into some of these other films that were filmed here was almost too much to grasp. This place literally is a place where demons descend into our reality. Now, we saw the fallen angel descend at the Super Bowl. This is the weekend, and it's just after the opening of this scene. He gets out of this car, and he's standing there, and whatever this is descends into him, absorbs into him, possessing him. And remember, this is Flushing Meadows. Now, this theme of descending at this place, Flushing Meadows, this goes back decades in the film The Wiz. And we're going to get into that in a second here. Make sure we're connected. Very good. Be back in the chat in a minute. This is the film The Wiz. This is all the way back in 1978. Now, we decoded other parts of The Wiz. And when they enter the Emerald City, which is at zero ground on Blind 11, we decoded all that. But here's another component to it. This part was filmed at Flushing Meadows, the New York Pavilion. And here you see Dorothy falling through the Oz sign, which turns it into a letter of the alphabet that shall not be named. There she is with her dog, Toto. Ooh, Tent of Tomorrow. Toto, T-O-T-O, falls through the Tent of Tomorrow, T-O-T. We're going to have to dig deeper into that. There's the sign there. This is the Oz sign. Falls through the Tent of Tomorrow, as you'll see here. And it forms the letter that shall not be named. Now, of course, this letter could stand for Queens, of course, which is where Flushing Meadows is. But we all know the PSYOP now. This group, biggest honey trap in world history, that drew out the patriots, drew out those who oppose this new way of life they're trying to force us all into. They drew them out with a president, and then they're now rounding them up. This is what's happening right now. So this is the arrival. Now, I don't know how Diana Ross fits into all this. I have not broken her down yet, or Dorothy, or the concept, but this definitely is a portal. I think we can all agree. Now, what is this? What are we looking at here? This is an actual building. All they did is retrofit it with these lights for the film. And this is the big top tent. The Tent of Tomorrow. T-O-T. This was made for the World's Fair in 1964. And it makes up one of several buildings in the New York Pavilion in Flushing Meadows. Let me show you that real quick here before we move on. Here is the Queen's Theater, one of several buildings. Then they also have the observation towers, as you see here, and the Tent of Tomorrow. This is it right here. And that's where they're doing this ritual in the film The Wiz. Let's keep watching. Now, I call this the arrival because Dorothy, played by Diana Ross, falls through and lands in a sandbox. And then the dancing ensues, as you'll see in a minute, as they're all in this playground-like setting under the big top in the circus tent. And then this graffiti comes to life from the walls. A lot of graffiti in like iPetco 2, right? And they're like flattened, but then they turn into 3D. Just like the Doritos commercial with Matthew McConaughey during the Super Bowl. What is this about? Now, I didn't put the part about the graffiti coming out of the walls, going from 2D to 3D, in this montage, but you guys can all pull this film up. This film is widely available right now for free to watch. Lots of symbolism in it, but you'll notice no one ever talks about this film anymore, do they? I think they revealed too much. They don't want this film to be talked about. This was look at all the money they spent on this film. All the dancers and lights. This is a very revealing film. Ritualistic film. So, first Dorothy falls, fallen angel, and then we have another one, and that is another one of the witches. And she falls, you can see her here, coming down through the observation tower once again, just like in the Men in Black film they talked about. And listen to the first words out of this witch's mouth. This is chilling.
I never killed nothing in my life.
Well then, I think you just graduated from the Bush Leagues into the Majors, girl.
So the Bush League, right? Because we had 2 Bushes, and then now the Major Leagues. I mean, I'm wondering if these people don't have some kind of a foreknowledge of the future. Well, they know the agenda that they want to put forward, but we did. The presidency went from the Bush Leagues that was possessing the presidents, right? Because we all saw it, just like in I Pet Goat 2, Bush was possessed. And then the Major Leagues. This could have even been a foreshadowing of Obama, right? Maybe he is who Dorothy is depicting. But we all know who is from Queens. That would be the president we just had, Mr. T, the Don. So this is some kind of spirit that's possessing these presidents. This is what I have thought all along. There's the eye or the portal that she falls through. This is the tent of tomorrow. Toto, tent of tomorrow. The dog, Lupercalia, is the dog. Dog backwards is God. Sandbox, we're all in the sandbox. Sandman, enter Sandman. There's the flattened graffiti coming out of the wall. I got a piece of it, I guess. But there's this whole ritual where they all peel themselves out of the wall.
Come to mama, you hot little digits. Let me lay my 2020s on ya.
Let me lay my 2020s on ya.
Let me lay my 2020s on ya. Now, the switch comes down, and this is just after Dorothy crushes the other witch with the letter Z from the Oz sign. And she mentions 2020. That was 42 years before CV-19. This film came out in 78. Now, this witch is supposedly the good witch. And she's all about numbers. She's fascinated with numbers. And we've seen these numbers attached to these presidents. Every single one.
Let me lay my 2020s on ya.
Oh, how I love you. Let me count the ways.
He'll send you back through time by running magic through ya.
He'll send you back through time by running magic through ya.
So there's a time travel component, obviously, which there always is, associated with these numbers. And they're basically hailing the wizard who can send people back through time by sending magic through them. And then as they walk out of the big top, the tent of tomorrow, we see the famed number 58 that surrounded the Don's life. We did extensive revelations about the number 58. Something happened during his presidency, you guys. And of course, the same agenda is being carried forward by Bo Jiden. They're all one and the same. A bad Don is a Biden. There it is. The number 58. Now, this, of course, is the infinity symbol, which is also time. Look at how much like the I Pet Goat Psalm 23 this looks like. Really weird, isn't it? Maybe we should take another look at The Wiz. Maybe we will find Psalm 23 in The Wiz, just like an I Pet Goat, in some graffiti on the wall. Now, what else do we have here? So, This is the number 58. Now, if you don't know about the number 58, I'm not going to keep repeating that over and over and over again. But listen, you guys, no Democrat could have pulled off the warp speed like the T-Man did. He was in the right place at the right time with the right distractions so that he could pull off the greatest creation of the Venom in world history, going out to the most people in world history. I'm sure we're approaching 1 billion people on the planet that are getting this so far. So both sides work together. So don't get caught up when I start talking about the T-Man, and just because I don't mention Bo Jiden as many times as I mention the T-Man, they're all working together. Now, of course, decades later after this film, we had Men in Black, and they continued the legend of aliens descending into Flushing Meadows. So we begin to see that there's much more to this than just fiction. There's something else going on here. Let's keep watching. So, of course, is the globe that Mr. T had commissioned as a replica of the Unisphere in Flushing Meadows. He put it right out in front of one of his buildings near Central Park.
We agreed, and we concealed all the evidence of their landing.
So these are real flying saucers, and the World's Fair was just a cover-up for their landing.
More non-humans arrive every year, and they live among us in secret.
And the World's Fair was just a cover-up for their landing.
Why else would we hold it in Queens?
Why else would we hold it in Queens? You're coming with me!
What?
So this globe was commissioned by Mr. T in 1997. "58 years. There's that number again. After the 1939 World's Fair, which was the original globe, which was called the Perisphere. What you're looking at here is the HEBREW, date of 1997. They have a different calendar. And there you see the double 57s in the calendar year. Mr. Needles. Mr. Hypo Needle.
You slimy, gut-sucking intestinal parasite!
Date on the magazine or newspaper from the film Men in Black, 5/7. And there is Ivana's name that appears on the magazine. That was Mr. T's first wife.
Not part of the job description. You just repair drones. Don't go into the radiation zone. Don't ask too many questions.
So that, of course, was Tom Cruise in the film Oblivion. And he was a clone. He was a Gemini. And he was just following directions, repairing drones as the aliens basically began to harvest the planet. And everything was reversed around. Humans began to be hunted. So that was the trailer that I wanted to show you guys that I worked on all day yesterday for and when we basically premiered that during the evening show yesterday. Now I do these trailers because some of you are wide awake and you want the Cliff Notes version. You don't have time to sit through a 45 or 50 minute show, nor can you get up in the mornings to do that. And others of you like the longer shows because you like to absorb the information. And honestly, most of us need to see these decodes a few times to get it. Because what happens is the chat, I know the chat is entertaining, but it can be distracting. So a lot of us need to see it twice to absorb what's happening. And sometimes, even myself, I need to marinate on these topics and concepts for a few hours that are revealed to me. And so that I could do a more complete analysis on it. I had a few people get frustrated and upset with me with the process. And that I even do these trailers. They're like angry. And typically the trailers get a lot of thumbs down compared to the live shows where we can flesh all this out, right? No pun intended. So these people were upset and they were thinking that I was intentionally trying to build suspense or holding back information. That's not what it's about, you guys. I worked on this for 9 hours yesterday until my eyes started hurting. I had to actually put it down because I was getting an eye grain, which happens sometimes, but I try to pace myself. But when I opened up Pandora's box of this site, Flushing Meadows, let's look it up right now. I'm going to show you guys this. This is what I saw yesterday. I went to IMDb, Flushing Meadows. Oops, IMD. And I was like, are you kidding me? Look at all of the things that were filmed there. King of Queens, Men in Black, 28 Days. Now, this isn't the 28 Days zombie film. This is a romantic comedy. 8mm. Snuff film. New Year's Eve. All filmed. And I basically went through 8mm. I could not find where it was filmed in Flushing Meadows. It may have been in the residential area of Flushing Meadows, not the actual World's Fair site, Corona Park. But these are just some disturbing films. This is The Wiz, which of course we just covered. 2 weeks notice. It's probably signaling things to come. Look, there's Sandra Bullock. Interesting, right? See how all this ties in together? All filmed at Flushing Meadows. Amazing Race. Summer of Sam. Old Dogs. This is about twins. There's your Gemini references. 88 minutes long. This starred Robin Williams and John Travolta. Filmed at Flushing Meadows. The Odd Couple. See the twinning references here? A couple, two, couple. See this? 2 weeks notice. This isn't all in our heads, you guys. Now, what other films were filmed at Flushing Meadows? There was one in here that was really creepy. All the way back in 1916. Look at this one, Deadly Illusion. A detective is framed for a murder he did not commit. Queens Supreme. Closer to Home. One of them was called The Witching Hour. Let's see if we can find that. Before we jump off this. Angels. Ooh, like fallen angels. See, all this needs to be looked at. So I got through some of these yesterday. I speed watch. So I flick through. Typically what I'll try to do is I'll sometimes also pull up the script, and I can just do word searches to see if any words were mentioned. The World of Tomorrow. It's a documentary. The Sewer. This is from 1912. Remember we talked about this being a sewer or a swamp? Everything we've been talking about is actually true. This is real. World's Fair Spectacular. I think it's on this page here. Oh, there it is. 1400 Hours. Kiner's Corner. There it is. The Witching Hour. This is from 1916. Now, I can't find this film anywhere, of course. It's a really old film. But it's a gambler with clairvoyant and hypnotic powers, able to win at cards through his unique gift. But he hypnotizes someone. So there's your possession again. Causes him to kill someone. The Witching Hour. So there's more to this than meets the eye. So why am I talking about all that? Well, I'm talking about all that to demonstrate to you that I put a lot of time and effort into these decodes. And I think sometimes some people, not you guys, some people actually forget what's really happening here. This is a miracle, this daily revelation and connections, this guidance that we are getting from the Holy Spirit on where to look and how to put it together and when to put it together. And it takes a lot of dedication and work and time. And I appreciate your patience in allowing God to work through this channel. You guys, I'm not even at the wheel here. Okay? I'm just following what he's telling me to do. So if you're angry about something, you need to take it up with him, not me. I'm just doing this, going as fast as I can to put this stuff together, which upon his instructions. And there is no channel out there like this channel. We're gifted. We have a gift. All of us together, not me. All of us. You know, and I try to please everybody, but some people think the videos are too short. Some people think they're too long. So I try to provide both formats. What shocks me is how rude some people can be. They'll come on here and just launch insults. And I don't have time to deal with all those negative feelings. So I just block people pretty quickly. So before you launch into me, think about that. Because you'll just get blocked. You just won't have a voice here anymore. If you come at me sideways, because I don't come at you that way. And of course, there's still some people out there angry that I still talk about the T-Man and not maybe as much about Bo Jiden. But understand this. Bo Jiden is even more of a puppet than the T-Man. He's just carrying out the same agenda that the T-Man put forth. He's getting as many Americans as possible to take the VC. That's their goal right now. And everything else is smoke and mirrors. It's all distractions while they keep sinking the fangs into people. So it's very important to remember how we got here. Warp speed. That none of this, what we're going through right now, could have happened without that. And so now what they're going to do is continue to try to pitch us on the fake right-left paradigm. And they're doing that now with this fake impeachment. No one's ever going to go to jail. This is all just smoke and mirrors. It's a big waste of time. Political theater. And it's just distraction while they get as many people as they can to take the VC and keep working on the technocratic fence, which includes everything, all things electric. Once they take everything electric, they can turn it off and turn it on at will based on your compliance or non-compliance with the beast system. That's the bottom line, you guys. That is the bottom line. Make no mistake. The technocratic fence, the electronic fence is in full effect. And they're just going to keep ratcheting it up, taking over more and more parts of our lives. Pretty soon, if you wipe your butt wrong, you could have your bank account shut off. Or if you don't pay a tax that's outstanding that they feel you need to pay, they can just turn your electric car off or your internet or whatever else they want to. And you will be forced into compliance. This is what both sides are working on. It's a bipartisan effort right underneath the radar. And all this stuff about, oh, we're going to do the pipeline. We're not going to do the pipeline. We're going to build the wall. We're not going to build the wall. We're going to, and all that's just theater. It's to keep you divided on these issues that they just keep flip-flopping back and forth with across different administrations that mean absolutely nothing. All that matters is complete and total control. That's what they're both working on together. And the maintenance of power. Our life has not changed very much now that Bo Jiden is in power. It's exactly the same as it was before. The only difference are people's feelings. That's it. Let's go into the chat. All right. It's Friday. We made it, you guys. Yes, this is all leading to the mark. I agree 100%. Yes, the actors and set, they're all empty vessels. Probably clones. Fool me once. Shame on. Totem poles. Oh, that's good, Death Bread. Okay. So Toto. Maybe it's like, maybe Toto is the code word for clone. Something that's possessed, like totems are possessed. They have the spirits in them, right? Maybe that's what Toto, Tent of Tomorrow. Maybe that's what that's all about. Okay. I love you guys back. You guys are amazing. Okay. The purple. Someone mentioned the purple. Unclean spirits. The Village. The movie The Village. Might take another look at that. They are playing ball. Yes. And the Super Bowl was one big unclean ritual. We delved into the whole concept of the Super Bowl many, many times over the years. We had one video called The Giants. And remember that one year in the Super Bowl, probably about 2013, 2014, and all the commercials were about giant NFL players. Remember that? They showed them supersized and they'd walk in the living room and sit on a couch and break it. Well, that's because NFL is Nephilim. It's all about bloodlines. So make no mistake, they know who the people are that have more concentrated blood, which probably exhibit signs of giantism. They're bigger than all the rest of us. Their hands are huge. Their feet are huge, of tall stature. And then what they do is these people become the kings of our earth. They get to play in professional sports like basketball and football. And that's why they name it after this, the Nephilim League. You just might as well call it the Nephilim League. And they make billions and millions of dollars on our backs off of our stupidity and our allegiance and our worship. That's what's really happening here, if you really want to know the truth. And it's all Colosseum warfare, ancient Roman Colosseum warfare is what it is, where they would basically throw Christians and do it into a Colosseum under the big top and basically murder us. Now, who in their right mind would want to go and reenact that in a football stadium? They throw around the unclean pig skin that Jesus cast the demons into. You can't make this stuff up, you guys. It's just all just nothing new under the sun. It's happening over and over and over again. That's the root of all this. All the money and gambling surrounding the Super Bowl, all the things God doesn't like. The money in the temple, sacrifice, humiliation. It's all there, all the components that are against what God teaches. So when they sing and pray, when they pray, gosh, do they even pray at the Super Bowl? No, they don't. They sing the national anthem. There's no prayer there. Someone says Toto means the V word in Spanish. That's interesting. So, and they were birthed in through what looked like a V word too as well, didn't they? They were birthed in. Dorothy and Toto went through the birth canal. Yeah, and it's all fake anyway, Alien Believer says. Yeah, it's all fake sports. It's all just meant to get you distracted and worshiping them, buying all their merchandise so they can get richer. All right. Mask of the Beast. I like that, Rick Decker. That's exactly what's going on. Yeah, I saw that. We did a video on that whole thing with Brady. YouTube's very sensitive about that. I had to pull that video down. I think I got a strike for it, for showing Brady, in how he shows affection to his I mean, you can't make this stuff up. So there's something really wrong with that man. And people love him. They love him. They're just under the spell. I've learned not to get angry at people who don't see the evil. I've learned just not to, because what's that going to do? We're not supposed to be angry. But we see it. People like us see it. And the fact that you can't talk about it makes it even more true. That they're very sensitive about that. You can't say anything bad about Tom Brady on YouTube as it relates to that. Or his wife, what she's into. They're protected by social media. Okay. Cool. Shaking My Head Productions has a Brady clip. Thanks, 7 Grains. I mean, people... I watch this channel called Deer Meat for Dinner. I love that guy. I love his family, but there's something not right about them either. When Bush Sr. died, they were like, yeah, we missed that man. One of the greatest presidents ever lived. That guy killed so many people. It's not even funny. I mean, you can see there's no amount of soap you can use to clean up the blood around that guy. And then they're like, we love Tom Brady. Oh, come on, you guys. You got to wake up. You got to wake up to this. That guy is the cockiest, rudest idiot I've ever seen. That's not the person you want as your leader. So, but they're just asleep. They're just basically, when it comes to spiritual, they're making money hand over fist on YouTube. They're probably one of the poster child for, and they put a lot of work into their videos. They do. And I like his family, his wife, his girls, they believe in God, but they're at that infancy Christian stage where they're still asleep to everything that's happening. God does not condone going over to a country on a false pretense and taking out a bunch of people that have no ability to come over here and really do anything to us. If we were to simply make a couple rules at the airport and not let them in. I mean, it's pretty simple. But instead, we decide to finance a $1 trillion crusade against a country and take out millions of people. That just doesn't make, that's the furthest thing from God than anyone could ever imagine. Okay, and that's what's called a kindergartner Christian. And I'm sorry, bud, but that's just what it is. You got to wake up. You got to stand up for the rights of our earth. This is our earth, the common man. God gave us this earth, the little guy. There should be no rules on someone who gets in a boat and puts a little bait in there and throws out and catches a fish for the day. Now, I'm not talking fish for the week or fish for the month. I'm talking fish for the day. There should be no rules put on you. And any government that wants to do that is insane. This is our earth. God gave Adam dominion over this earth, not a government, to rule over people and divvy out what you can and can't harvest from the earth. That's Antichrist. You got to wake up. So, of course, there's only one answer, and that is Jesus Christ. This is what I tell you guys over and over again. Read the gospel if you haven't already. Give your life to Jesus. He's the one. Okay? That's the only answer. None of this is going to get fixed. All we're doing here is helping the few people that can wake up to give their allegiance to the Most High and to Christ. That's all we're doing here, is showing them the lies so they can begin to pull out of this system and stop believing that everything is going to be answered here. That is the answer. That's why we do these decodes, so that people can see the themes, so they can see the concerted and complete and comprehensive effort to instill and embed all of this sorcery into your entertainment, to convince you and take you along a track of an agenda. That's what all of this is about, you guys. So, I love each and every one of you. Be saved if you haven't already. Have a great day, everybody.